I also wanted to add, in continuation of the previous video of Dark Shadows, that a lot of people that's older than baby boomers, they did not like Dark Shadows because it talks about witchcraft and so forth. Also, what I noticed is I feel like you should always have a balance in your writing, and I'm a writer, and so I'm curious as to know, for Dan Curtis, was he antichrist? Did he believe in God? Because we have on Dark Shadows, they talk about the occult and things of that nature, and then you have somebody named Reverend Trask. He comes in 1795 and he shows up again in 1897, and both Trasks are fake. They talk about it in the show, how he just, like in 1897, he's a very horrible person. Like, he just wanted to get with the headmistress for her money, and everybody was warning her, like, he's a fraud. And in 1795, Nathan Forbes, which he was from the Navy, there's a scene where he's like, you don't belong to any church or organization, yet you call yourself a reverend. How are you a reverend? Which is true, right? Like, how are you a reverend, but you don't go to any church and you're not affiliated with any church? But he's going around saying he's a reverend. And he had Nathan lie in the trial for Victoria Winters. So it shows you the negative side of reverends. And, I didn't understand that. I didn't understand why they had to show the negative side. Why not show the positive side? Yes, you have fake people that pretend to be ministers, but it was kind of weird to me that you're already talking about witchcraft, and then the person that's supposed to fight it off is a fake. So basically promoting antichrist, promoting, basically don't believe in the church, believe in the devil. So I could understand how some people were offended by Dark Shadows, because everything is about the devil. You're talking about seances and witchcraft, but nobody stops to say God or talk about God. Where's the balance? So I definitely understand why some people didn't like it. I thought a lot of things that the show brought out, like in 1897, the person in charge was the grandmother. She passed away and put it to her granddaughter. And back then, 1897, women didn't really own property like that. So that was like an interesting fact that they brought out. She was owning property. The brothers were mad. She was the only girl in the family. And they have a scene where the grandmother has a will. And they like, well, how are you getting this money in this house? She's like, I'm the only one who took after her. And then Quentin, he laughs, and the other brothers, they're mad because their sister is in control of the estate. So that was interesting to see, in the 1897 episodes. And Reverend Trask had tried to come along and take her wealth. He actually had his wife killed so he could become master of Collinwood. And he married the mistress of Collinwood to try to get her money. So it's like, it shows a lot. It's like, wow, when you're watching this, it's a lot. But yeah, also the actresses and actors of Dark Shadows, they left and they did other things. Peter Bradford went on to do Twilight Zone. Daphne, she was one of Quentin's many mistresses. Quentin was a player. She went on to do Charlie's Angels. Joshua Collins, and also plays Roger Collins, went on to do All My Children. So the actors of Dark Shadows, a lot of them did very well after the show. it opened up a lot of doors for them, for their acting careers. And, you know, it was very well. I also wanted to add that when I was in 8th grade, I was fortunate enough to go to the Dark Shadows convention. Me and my father went. And we went to the Marriott Hotel in downtown Brooklyn. And we saw Catherine Lee Scott, which is played by Josette. And we saw, who else was there? Oh, Peter Bradford. He was there. So it was nice to see them, and they were old and wrinkly. You know, it was just, it was interesting to see the actors of such a classic. Also, in the Johnny Depp movie of Dark Shadows that came out in 2012, Barnabas, played by Jonathan Fred, made a cameo appearance with Laura Parker, played by Angelique, and Catherine Lee Scott, Josette Dupre. All three of them, Jonathan Fred, they made a cameo. There's a scene where they're having a party, and all three of them, he's walking in with Catherine Lee Scott and Laura Parker with him, you know, because they were both his women. You know, he had Angelique and Josette. So they're walking in, you know, with him or whatever. And that was it. After that movie, he passed away. So I'm happy he at least lived long enough to see that, you know, that his legacy continues. That also the documentary on TV was interesting to see, because I don't know if you guys watch True Blood. All my True Blood fans, you're the writer of True Blood and the creator of True Blood got his inspiration from Dark Shadows. He said that. He said he used to watch Dark Shadows and he got his inspiration from Dark Shadows. So a lot of your vampire shows and everything, the template was Dark Shadows. That is a classic phenomenon. You know, nobody was doing it. They were the first to do it. Jonathan Fred, he got tired of doing it, and that's when Dark Shadows went off the air. So it was a very successful run, and it was very different of its time, definitely. But yeah, check it out, guys, on Tubi. It doesn't have all the episodes, but it has a lot. And when you on your spare time, just watch it. It's a soap opera, so it's very addictive. Certain, you know, if you're into the witch vampire thing, or they have the series of Quentin's Curse, or when he haunts the children, that's a good one too. And it's all on Tubi. All right. Okay, bye.